So I resisted making atchar for a very, very long time because I didn't want to be the atchar lady. I didn't want to be the atchar lady who smells like atchar. And when I started making atchar 2 years ago during lockdown, some of my friends said, "Oh gosh, Zahra, you're now going to, whenever we meet you, you're going to smell like atchar." I said, "No, I'm not going to be that atchar lady. I am not going to be the atchar lady who's going to smell like atchar." And it's so amazing. When I started making atchar, it was so therapeutic. Every step, like I haven't made atchar in 2 months because I lost a very close friend of mine. And so I didn't feel like I was in a space where I could make atchar. And yet the atchar brought me the healing during lockdown. And so, and when I make my atchar, it's like I say a prayer, or I make dhikr, or I get myself into a space, and I don't make it if I'm not in that space. And somebody shared with me and said, if you're not in that space, go and walk barefoot. Get yourself grounded, hug a tree. And so sometimes I do such crazy stuff just to get myself into a space. So cutting my brinjal, working with my spices, it's, it just brings me so much joy and healing. And I always pray that energy goes into my atchar so somebody else can get a bit of that. So it's really an experience for me when I make my atchar. So I never wanted to be the atchar lady, and now I love it and I embrace it, and yeah. I'm Zahra Hendricks, and we're in Surrey Estate, Athlone. So my idea of atchar is a condiment that you eat that we used to eat with our food, with biryani or with curry. That was my experience of atchar. So when I grew up in Salt River, and I don't know where my love for atchar comes from, but I grew up in Salt River, used to walk to school from Durham Avenue to Salt River Muslim Primary School, Kipling Street at the time, and there was a shop on the corner, on one of the corners. It was called Ali's, and we used to get 5 cents from my dad in the mornings, and I would stop at that shop. In the morning before school, I would buy 2 cents atchar, mango atchar, and 2 cents tamarind, which is tamarind. And that would be my thing. And as I'm walking to school, I would be eating atchar and tamarind. So I'm making Brinjal Atchar today. I chose Brinjal Atchar because I think that's my signature atchar, because everybody loves it. It's different. So here we have red chilies. We're using jeera, tumaric, mustard seeds, also some golden jaggery, ginger, garlic. This is the golden jaggery, chili powder, chilies, some atchar masala, some sesame seeds, curry powder, tamarind, and asefoetada, brown sugar, and fennel seeds. So I soak my brinjal in water with some salt, just to get all the dirt and the grime off that. I make sure it's completely dry. Sometimes I put it out in the sun to dry. And then I chop it up when it's completely dry, chop it up into cubes, salt it, leave it for a couple of hours, sometimes overnight. Then once I see there's some water that has come out of the brinjal, I squeeze it, all the water out, and I drain it, and then I fry it. And so I fry it as brown and as crispy as possible, because it just gives a lovely texture to the brinjal. In summer, I've also put it out in the sun, and it also gives a lovely texture to the Brinjal Atchar. Then I make a paste. So I make a paste with the red chilies, the jeera, the turmeric, the mustard seeds, the garlic, the ginger, and vinegar. I ground up that all together. I also put in some crushed chilies, because I love crushed chilies, even though that's red chilies as well. So I make that paste. Then I put some oil in the pot, I add my paste, fry my paste so that the garlic is not raw. I fry that a bit, and then I add some tamarind. I add some tamarind. I add the curry powder. I add the gore, which is the cane sugar, and I add some brown sugar. I add all of that together, and then I add my brinjal to the pot, and I cook it a bit. Not too mushy. It must be a nice texture, also whole, so it mustn't be pup. And then I add my sesame seeds over that. I sometimes bottle it. I put it into a big jar, and when it's ready to, So with brinjal atchar, that's the lovely thing about brinjal atchar. You can cook it and you can eat it immediately. It doesn't need to stand like with mango atchar or lemon atchar. You can actually enjoy it immediately. But I usually put it in a big jar, and when I sell it or when I want to give a gift, I will, put it into smaller jars. For me, when I'm making atchar, right, someone is going to enjoy that atchar. So now I'm upset, I'm angry, or I had a bad day, or something happened, and I come and make atchar, and so that energy goes into the atchar, and I am offering it to somebody else, or somebody's going to buy it, or I'm giving it as a gift, but all of that negative energy and not love is in that atchar. So for me, it's important that love is in whatever I am making, in my atchar. People must taste, yes, I'm tasting spices. And I've had people sharing that with me. Yes, Zahra, your atchar is delicious. You can taste the different spices, but we can taste your love. And that for me is important. Here we go, simple brinjal atchar. For the recipe, look below. And for more delicious recipe, click on the link to the Lockdown Recipe Cookbook.